Welcome to the Tick Talk Podcast, a place for real conversations about Lyme disease and tick-borne illness. Hosted by Christina Murphy, Lyme advocate, educator, and vice president of the LEAF program. This podcast brings together patients, doctors, researchers, and families, working to change how Lyme is understood, treated, and prevented. These are the stories, the science, and the voices driving awareness forward.
Hello, everybody. This is Everything Frederick Live with Frederick TikTok. And I want you guys to subscribe. I'm going to introduce to you tonight our friend Mary Collins, who works for Insect Shield, and I am just so excited. So welcome, Mary.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. I've been handing out Insect Shield doggy bandanas for years, doing the education. I love it.
That's great.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and Insect Shield.
Sure thing. So my name is Mary Collins, as you said. I am the Vice President of Business Development at Insect Shield, and I'm just there about 20 years come January. So long time in the insect protection textile business. And I've, with the company, I've had many roles in the company, and currently I do a lot of work. We have facilities in Asia that I help manage, but also a lot of the focus these days is tick prevention, tick education, and I do a lot of work on that and getting the word out about how people can protect themselves and still enjoy going outside using Insect Shield and permethrin products.
Right. Now, how did you get involved with Insect Shield?
So I was working for a company, a clothing company called Ex Officio. We were actually the first company to use Insect Shield on our clothing. So we made outdoor travel clothing. A lot of it for people going overseas, maybe to places actually where it was more mosquito protection required, malaria, dengue fever, that type of thing, and just think of the nuisance of mosquitoes. So we started using Insect Shield in 2003 when Insect Shield got its EPA registration. And then about 4 years later, a handful of us from Ex Officio jumped over to the Insect Shield side because we saw that there was an opportunity to bring this concept to other brands and to other markets. So that's when I jumped over. So my background's more on the garment, functional clothing side, and then jumped into the insect repellent side. So it's a good balance between the two.
That's fantastic. So, what exactly is the technology that you're using here?
So we use permethrin, and permethrin is a repellent that has been registered by the EPA since 1977. So it's a long history, excellent safety record. It's been around. So we didn't invent a new repellent. We figured out a way to bond it into the fibers of clothing. Okay. So previously to 2003, you would go to your local outdoor store, you'd buy a can of permethrin, and you could spray your clothes down. And that would last 4 to 6 washes, depending. What we figured out, and our textile chemists figured out, was how to get the Insect Shield in to the clothing at a more permanent, level. So our current EPA registration is that it lasts for our apparel products through 70 launderings.
That's amazing. That's just astounding. Yay. So how do we, I'm still astounded by how many washings.
Yeah.
Forgive me for that.
Yeah.
So what are the pros and cons of treating with permethrin or having the permethrin treated at home? I mean, pros and
Yes,
cons.
absolutely. Yeah, sure. And one thing I did not mention. So we are registered by the EPA for mosquitoes, ticks, flies, ants, chiggers, and midges. One thing that permethrin does do, it works very well against ticks because ticks have to come into contact with it. Mosquitoes can be a little different because mosquitoes fly, so they get close and fly off. So just wanted to put that in. But really the difference between having the factory treated, which our technology is, and the spray is the longevity and the consistency of the way we can treat it, because we're treating in a closed setting with our proprietary machinery that, we know how much we put on the right amount for each item. You're not, you're going to spray your own clothes. You might overspray. That's fine. No one's getting hurt by it. But you can know that, those items are treated and it's going to last, for the lifetime of the garment. That's what the EPA considers 70 laundries. We recommend spray, especially for items that can't be treated. So shoes, backpacks, tents, things like that. We really learned a lot. We were working with the Appalachian Trail, and they have a lot of ticks on the trail. And people were using the clothes, but they're like, oh, my shoes, or they don't realizing they're putting their backpack down and then putting their backpack on, and there might be a tick, and they're just giving the tick a free ride up. So that's where this comes in. So we recommend the monthly spraying of the shoes, and then for items that can't be treated, that you can just spray your own. Or if there's times there might be an outfit you're going on one trip, you want that certain outfit, we do have a option where you can send your own clothing in for treatment. But it might be something that if there's one trip in a super high tick or mosquito country, you just want to spray that down, you buy some permethrin, you spray it. Permethrin works against that. So
you can actually mail the clothing in for you to treat it. That's fabulous.
So that we've been doing, we've had it in the US, and actually our headquarters is in North Carolina. And so when, we sell a variety of apparel, we also work with many brands like LO Bean and Columbia Sportswear and Bass Pro and Sims Fishing. You can buy, pre-treated. But we realize, there's items that people have and they love and they always garden in or they always hike in. They want treated. They don't. And so we have a program where you can send in per piece, or we have a program where you can actually buy what we call an easy pack. And you basically, you order it. We send you this bag. You can put as much, you can stuff as much stuff in the bag as you want, as you can get. And then you send it back. We treat it, then we send it back. And it's all it's very easy because you get the shipping. You don't have to go, to your post office.
Fantastic.
But both options are there. So a lot of people love that, or they have their special coverall. There's just certain special items that we don't make and sell. And that gives people the option to stay protected.
Are baseball caps included?
Baseball cap, absolutely. We do sell a baseball cap. We sell caps. Yes, we have a variety of hats. Yeah.
Yes, I wear a lot of baseball caps.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So we already talked about how effective it is, how long it lasts. What are the bugs that the treatment helps to protect against?
Right. So what I said, our EPA registration, we have to follow what the EPA says. So, it's interesting. The EPA considers, a shirt that's treated with insect shield. It's not a shirt now. It's a repellent first and foremost. So it's just blank on the back of the can. We have there's a little tag that we have to put on everything. So mosquitoes, ticks, flies, ants, chiggers, and midges. And, that's one thing I was mentioning earlier, the ants and ticks and insects that have to crawl up. As soon as they come into contact with permethrin, they get very discombobulated and they get what the scientists say called the hot feet, and they just want to get off. Whereas flyers may get close and they want to kind of just move away. It makes them uncomfortable. But the goal is that they get so uncomfortable that they don't bite you or attach to you in the tick. So that's the permethrin disrupts that enough. But those are the insects, and then that we can claim effectiveness. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So on your site, what kinds of clothing do you have available?
So we have a variety of clothing. So, we have socks, we have t-shirts, we have sweatshirts, we have hoodies, we have leggings, we have workwear. We have knit shirts, woven shirts, hiking kind of outdoorsy product. We have a lot of kids product. You can see they're, sending your clothes for treatment on the site right there.
Oh, there it is.
The one thing, there's the socks. Yeah. So, I mean, what we found with ticks and tick protection are socks and spraying your shoes, because there have been studies that just spraying your shoes and wearing treated socks can reduce the chance of a tick attaching by 73%.
Brilliant.
And there are studies too. I found one, but they even showed this. So even if a tick crawls up through the sock, even just, and a tick is tiny, so it takes it a while to crawl all the way up. Just that, if it does get past the sock and it's still is climbing, that exposure alone then reduces by 90% the chance that it'll even attach, because it is, like I said, it's kind of so discombobulated. So
90.
Shoes and socks, because ticks start from the ground up, and that's one of the issues that that's everyone needs to remember. And people go, "Oh, no, they don't. I found a tick on my head," and you're like, you know what? It climbed up your body, and people don't want to believe that a tick climbed up their body, but it did. So if you can start from the ground up, but keeping in mind, if you're a hunter or a gardener, your whole body's, you're down there, so it is important then in that case to be protecting, the rest of your body and having the shirts and the pants and the hat, bandana, that type of thing, because, you're low to the ground. So you need to make sure that's all protected.
That's wonderful. Now, I have a question, and this, I'm sorry, sometimes I ask questions that I don't remember to put into the...
Oh, that's okay. I've answered many questions in my day, but insect shield.
I think about all of the hunters that we have out here and how they use either a blanket or something to cover the back of their truck, so that when they get the animals into the truck. Now, can they treat their blankets for the back so that
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, one thing to note with the blanket that would need to look into, products that we treat do really need to be water absorbent. So if it is like a tarp material, we can't get into a tarp material. So it'd have to be something absorbent. We do sell kind of a picnic blanket, but a blanket that, making sure it's absorbent, because if it is, you can imagine we're trying to bond a liquid into the fabric. If the fabric doesn't absorb, then it's not going to get on there, or it's only going to be on there a little bit. So they absolutely could send it in, but we'd recommend they check to make sure, just drop some water on, make sure water is actually absorbing into the fabric.
Okay. I see.
That's a great idea.
I see that. Yeah. Well, we have to protect our hunters, and fishermen.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Okay. I think that we're going to be needing to do a commercial break. And when we get back, we'll talk about Maryland and the community and how Insect Shield can help us.
Okay, sounds good.
Excellent.
What makes for a perfect custom engagement ring? Truly understanding the elements that make a ring that's perfect for you. Custom by Colonial. The Colonial Jewelers box. There's just more in it.
When you care deeply about Frederick County, you want your generosity to make a meaningful impact. The Community Foundation provides trusted leadership and guidance to connect people who care with the causes they care about, supporting local students, nonprofits, and community needs. Together, we're creating enduring impact and making more possible across Frederick County. Visit frederickcountygives.org.
Oh, welcome back, Mary. Now, I said that we were going to talk about Maryland and the community. Everyday protection, like for those of us who have our gardening clubs and walking the dog and youth sports, especially youth sports. We have our football teams are going to be starting their, camp before they get into school. What are your recommendations for all of these people with their prevention?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, our main, our number one at a bare minimum, treating your shoes, spraying them down with permethrin, wearing treated socks, and then having as much insect shield or permethrin treated product. So if maybe a football uniform that, if I don't know if someone, wanted to send it in for treatment, or it's something you just spray yourself, buy it. It's an easy spray down just to make sure you're protected. Same thing, with, I think, walking your dog, that's one thing people forget. They think, oh, ticks are where it's only if I go out into hiking in a special trail, that type of thing, and remembering that it's everywhere. Right. So again, having the shoes that you wear just to go outside in the yard, having your gardening clothing, having treated, use permethrin, use insect shield. I mean, permethrin just has such an excellent record of, preventing ticks and tick attachment. So the more permethrin treated product you have on, the better off you are. There's no odor to it. You don't know it's there. The insects do. It's a really easy way to protect yourself. Okay. And the nice thing with having pre-treated product is it's the lasting for a while. You don't have to remember, when did I last spray that? Was it last month or the month before? Kind of that just makes it a bit easier for everyone to remember, especially nowadays when protection is so important.
That's convenient. That really is. And since people are not as aware or have not practiced, what is one simple habit to do every day that gets them started on this using of bug repellents? One thing.
One thing. I know we work with a gentleman out of University of Rhode Island who's one of the leading tick experts, Dr. Thomas Mather. I mean, again, it kind of goes back to the same things each time, but, he has a Google, he says, he'll actually even send you one, like a Google alert, like the first of the month, spray everybody's shoes in the house. Just get them all, put them outside, spray them all down. So even that, at that bare minimum. I mean, the other thing is just always checking for ticks when you come in, when you take the shower, check for ticks. If you are really worried, it's easy just to take your certain clothes off. Just it's just creating a habit. It's like, I think back to when I was young and we didn't wear sunscreen because we all just wanted to get as tan as possible. And, that was the look. And now sunscreen is just part of everyone's day. Wearing your seatbelt. When I grew up, when I was little, we didn't, and then it became, now you feel naked without your seatbelt. So it's trying to incorporate these habits, putting the note, I think when we also were wearing sunscreen, you almost had to put a note, like put that sunscreen on every day. Right. But, just if you can start creating that every day that you remember, I'm going on the walk, I need my tick shoes, or, those are the ones I always wear when I'm going out. And then coming home and doing the tick check. Even if you have all your treated product, you should still always be doing the tick checks, especially if you're in areas where, you're extra concerned.
That's awesome. Yes. I know that when I do my TikToks, I always end by saying, okay, remember your bug repellent. But like you say, it takes many steps to like sorry, but I think the thing with ticks is different because mosquitoes, you get bit and then you have a reaction. So it reminds you quickly, or it's always an afterthought. Oh, I got bit. Let me put it on, not before I do it. But ticks, you don't notice. So it just has to become that every day. And that's where, we have folks that they just have their gardening clothes that they sent for treatment. And I know they've told me in my closet is my gardening outfit that's treated. Right. So every time I go gardening, I know that's what I put on. And it's my favorite, outfit that's why I sent it in, because it's what I love to wear. So that just becomes that habit when you're going outside. Right. That's absolutely right. Thank you. Now, what are some myths and misconceptions that we need to tell the general public right off the bat?
Well, I think the biggest thing when I say to people, what we do, we treat clothes with insect repellent, they're like, ew, why would I want my clothes to have insect repellent? That, insect repellent is gross. Because people immediately think I sweat and then my eyes start to sting, or when you were a kid and your mom sprayed you down and you were got some in your mouth and you think of DEET, maybe, you got stick plastic. So thinking of something like permethrin and, pre-treated clothing there's none of that. It's a shirt. The same way, if I like to, I'm not wearing, but I like to always say, if I'm wearing, say my shirt was red and to make that shirt red, they had to put a lot of dye in that shirt to make it red. I'm not worried when I take my shirt off that I'm going to, my body's going to be red because it's bound into the fibers. So that's what we've done. We've taken a repellent that works. We have bound it into the fabric fibers. So we've lost that whole yuckiness to protection. And I think that's what turns a lot of people off. And the whole idea, they're thinking, I'm going to smell, my shirt's going to be sticky. And it's like, it's a completely different way of a textile technology that can change how you use the product. The same thing with sun protective clothing nowadays. People, oh, that's great, I can wear my sun protective clothing. So that's our next step, is getting the insect protective clothing at that same knowledge level and understanding.
So we can safely say that it's bonded on the fabric. It's not going to come off on you, right? Right.
Well, that's it. One thing, and that's where, kind of that safety part, it's not going to last for 70 washes if it's coming off on you. Like, you can't have both, and one thing too, in terms of like the safety part, our EPA registration is what they call a category 4 registration, meaning the label has no warning, or this is for the treated clothing, no warning or no caution. So anytime you have a liquid repellent, you're going to a warning or caution. Don't spray in your eyes, be careful when you're putting it on children. With the pre-treated clothing, there's literally no warning or caution on the label because the EPA won't even let us put one on. For the spray, there is one because it's liquid. So you have to be careful when you're spraying that you spray it properly like you do any other spray that you have in your house that's EPA regulated.
Right. And as you're mentioning about, oh boy, my speech patterns today. As you're mentioning about the spraying and things, are there common mistakes that people make when trying to protect themselves?
Yeah, I think that they don't, one thing, it's where you're going to be and what you need to be protecting, and thinking of, especially with like treated clothing, if you put a hat on, it's not going to protect your legs. So it's understanding that just like a regular repellent, if I spray some topical repellent, which we absolutely recommend if you're somewhere where there's a lot of insects, if I spray my arm, I don't expect it to spray my ankle. So some people are like, well, I had the hat on and my ankles got bit. So understanding it works just like another repellent. It's not magic. You're not going to put a scrunchie in your hair. You're not going to wear some bracelet that's going to have some full body protection. It's where you need to make sure you have the repellent where you need to be protected. So if you are hiking or just walking and not really getting down in the dirt, just making sure that your lower half is protected to keep the ticks off of that from climbing up and getting attached.
That's good advice. Absolutely. Now, I know this is probably a little repetitive, but are there any myths that you would like to put to rest? Just tell people flat out. No.
Yeah, I think our biggest myth that we battle with ticks is kind of where they are and where they come from, and they're falling from the trees. And the thing is, there are so many insects that look like ticks that fall from trees. They're not coming from the trees. And one of our experts was like, just by the time the ticks can't see, like by the time it crawls up a tree, how's it going to even know to try to fall onto a person? So I would say that's the one of kind of just understand, if you know where ticks are and how they behave, you can protect yourself that much better. So if you learn about some tick behavior, then you can know where to look for them. And remembering that even your yard, because they're deer carry their ticks on deer, but also mice carry a lot of, and you have mice in your yard, there's mice running around everywhere outside. If you're even in suburban, and I actually grew up in Baltimore County, and there's deer everywhere. We're in, there's nature. So it's not just the deer, it's a lot of these small rodents that are also carrying ticks. But so if you learn about just where ticks are, then you know how to protect yourself.
Yes. Well, if you see a cute chipmunk, don't go near it.
No, do not.
All right. So looking ahead, this is my favorite question. Are there any new or recent products or innovations coming from Insect Shield that we should keep an eye out for and that you're excited about?
Yeah, I think we're just really trying to expand our offering to cover more and more people so they can be outside and protecting themselves. And I keep harping back on the socks, but about 5 years ago, we're like, let's do a sock. Now we have about 12 different styles of socks, and we're expanding and trying, having fun socks and kind of basic socks. having socks for kids. So, we just continue. We try to hear from customers of what they're looking for. The spray this year, we actually did come out with a big can. So it's like, just if you're going for a camp trip, you spray your tent down. So we continue to really actually look a lot to our customers to get feedback of what they're looking for, and to make sure we're making product that's really usable and functional for, a day-to-day basis.
Fantastic. Is there anything else that you can think of that you would want to tell our community?
I would really say, we all have to be careful about ticks between, Lyme disease and now alpha-gal syndrome from the Lone Star tick is getting a lot of press. And I know it's in Maryland as well. But I guess our thing is you can go outside and still enjoy outside and be, and not be bitten by ticks if you just, do these steps and protect yourself. Because we do want people to enjoy being outside. It's very important for all of us, for our mental health, for the world, to get outside, enjoy nature. It's one of the blessings we have. So I think if, you learn a bit, you can do it and you can feel comfortable and not be scared. Because we've talked to people that were like, I didn't want to go outside anymore. I was too scared. And you give some basic tips, some ways to protect yourself, and you can do it comfortably and safely. And that's what's most important.
Fantastic, Mary. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
We are so excited to have you on, and I hope that you will come back again so that we can make sure we keep our community mindful.
I would love to.
Thank you so much. All right. I want you to have a wonderful rest of your day. And everybody in Frederick, ring that subscribe bell, please. Subscribe to Frederick TikToks and to everything Frederick Live, so you can see Mary Collins from Insect Shield. Oh, do you have something you want to splash on your website?
Yeah, there we go. Insect
there we go.
Perfect. Right. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You've been listening to the Tick Talk Podcast, hosted by Christina Murphy. If this episode informed, inspired, or helped you better understand Lyme disease, take a moment to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Your support helps these conversations reach the families and communities who need them most. As always, you can watch all past episodes on the Everything Frederick Live YouTube channel.
This episode is a proud production of the Everything Frederick Live Podcast Network, your home for Frederick's best podcasts, streaming daily on YouTube.